So the variable here is actually a name that is being represented a value stored in the computer's memory. So normally it's used to access and manipulate the stored data, and its referenced value is represented. Okay, so here is the another topic we want to talk about is the assignment statement. So actually, it's create a variable and make its reference data. So any general format is something like this one. So here is the variable name, and the right-hand side is the um, expression here. So you use the equal notation as the assign, right? So example for that is like the age is equal to 29. So the functionality for this code is like you will copy this value and assign this value into the age. So the variable here, you can just think about that in the computer. So you normally like you will have some storage place, right? So it will just allocate different storage place to store those data. Uh, here are some like assignment statement rules. So the variable receiving the value must be on the left-hand side, and the variable can be passed as a argument to the function. And the variable name should not be enclosed in quote marks. Okay. Yeah, so you can see it here. Uh, for the print function here, you just uh, print this one, so it will display just a string here. And then you can just define this string and assign this string as a value and assign this value be assigned to the variable called name here. Then you print this variable. Then you will also display the, the value of the variable here. And if you just print here, so it will just, yeah, as this one mentions, if you use the quote mark, so the quote will make the anything between the quote into a string, just a normal string. So you will have nothing to do with the variable. Okay. Yeah. So another important stuff is like you can only use the variable if the value has been assigned that to it. So for example, uh, the meaning for that is like the name has already assigned to this one. For example, if you just switch those two lines, the line number 2 and the line number 3, so it will just give you the error. Yeah, the compiler will tell you, well, the name has not been defined yet. Okay, so you have to like define them before you want to have any access with this variable. Okay, and some rules about the naming variable in Python. So a variable name cannot be the Python keyword, and later we will talk about some some of the Python keyword. And a variable cannot contain any spaces. And also the first character must be a letter or uh, underscore. Okay, and after the first character, you can use letters, digits, or underscores. Okay, which means you cannot start with the number, you cannot start with the digits. Okay, yeah, so that is quite important. And the variables names are case sensitive. So the capital letter and the non-capital letter, it does matter. Okay, and the variable name should reflect its intended use, right? So for example, you can just having the variable name as monthly rate or number of the items sold. But still, you can use the like the ABC or ZZZ or DD. So this is okay, but well, this might be really confusing if you are like writing like a really large project of your code, right? So you have nothing to you have no idea about what these variables have been stored. What is that for? Okay. And here are some like Python keyword. So actually the Python keyword is actually already been defined by the Python, right? So for example, like the DEF here. So this is like to define the function or method in Python. Okay, and the if statement here, so you cannot use this one. Okay, and the true and the false here are also like the the Boolean value is already defined in Python. And also like the Python will also allow you to display multiple items print here. So yeah, you can print multiple items with just a single code. And so you can just use that by separate the item with commas when passing the next arguments. So items are displayed in the order they are passed. So by default, so the items are automatically separated by the space on the screen. So for example, here, print, so you're given like a two string with the comma to separate them, right? And the output here is just Katie and Smith here. Okay, so like here is just the with the comma here, it just give you a space when you print that out. Okay, and then it's like the variable reassignment. So variable can be reference different value when the program is running. And it also can refer to an item of any data type. And also like the variable assigned one type can later be reassigned to another type. Yeah, so unlike C++ or like Java, right? So all those other language you have to like to underline or you need to make a statement. So for example, the age. So you want the age had to be the integer or a string, right? But here is the why like we call like the Python is really easy uh, to uh, to go into is it is like yeah, so the compiler will know like when you actually like to assign the right, so you just need to assign them. So for example, this is if this is like in Java, so Java have to like use like a int age is equal to some number. But here, the Python, it doesn't require you uh, to make a statement. So what is the actual data type? So it will just know like, yeah, here, because here is just the integer, right? So it will just uh, make sure, well, this variable is the integer. And also like if you want to reassign the same variable to another string, right? It is also okay. And so this variable automatically changing the data type as well. Yeah, so I think this is most convenient part. yeah, and also this is like a really user friendly for the beginners. Okay. Yeah, and also like we can talk about the numerical data type, right? Because previously we mentioned about data type. All those data type, as previously we mentioned, you need to make statement in C++ or Java here. But in Python, you don't need to specifically specify that, but you got to know the idea, right? So for example, the int here, that means the integer value, and the float, that means the real number. So real number, that means with the decimal point. And the str, that means is used to storing the string, okay? And also like we have the numeric laterals. So that is like numbers written directly in the program. So it can be just the the integer here, and also the float here. And so the example for the integer, like here is something like this one, but the float number is got to have the decimal number. And some operation behaved differently depends on the data type. Okay, so and also like in Python, when you running your code, so you can it have the type here. So for example, you can use the type and with the bracket 23, it will just return a class integer. And if you just type another, like the float number, it will just give you the float type.